Nuanced Nostalgia, it's a 90s vibe. Come and tap in, we're keeping it live. Nuanced Nostalgia, it's a 90s vibe. Come and tap in, we're keeping it live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Nuanced Nostalgia. I'm Nick Norris, and with me, as always, is my beautiful, lovely, and sick co-host, Caitlin Mogwai Shortall.
Mogwai, yes. I woke up from a 3-hour nap. So
Yes.
mind your business.
About 5 minutes ago. Yeah, you've
Yes.
been very under the weather here recently.
Well, okay. In the grand scheme of things, I'm fine, probably. I'm not as sick as you could be, but yeah, very unwell right now. But it's all good.
It is
We're
all
gonna
good.
make it through. Just mind your business what I look like if you're watching. Mind your business. But.
Yeah, and that's good. We need to start saying that at the beginning of every episode. We do have a YouTube video stream of this podcast every episode. So you can tune in and watch us talk about these. With this week, again, we have one camera. I found my camera, though. I found my third camera that I'd lost for weeks just under my seat in my car, along with my Apple Watch and my sunglasses.
No one's surprised, but anyway, that's besides the point.
So
but yeah,
next
we found
week,
it. Yeah.
if we have time, we'll have the 3 camera set up again. We could have had time this week, but I didn't do it. So next week, maybe.
We're just doing what we can.
Yeah.
We're doing what we can.
Exactly. Great. This week, though, we're talking about 1984's Gremlins, directed by Joe Dante and executive produced by Steven Spielberg. And I'm excited about this one. This is part 2 of our 4-part Christmas extravaganza here on Nuanced Nostalgia. I also want to say really quick thank you to ran into a few people that I know this week that said they listened to this. So thank you for that.
I also thank you for that. Now I can't conceptualize being perceived, but like other than that, in my mind, we talk, we have these conversations, we put them on the internet, and then no one listens, which like is fine if that's true.
Yeah.
But in my mind, no one does. And so like when people say that they do, I'm like, what do you mean? I'm confused. Like it's a private server we're uploading it to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like fully on the internet, but anyway, it's nice. I appreciate it.
So thank you. We also are going to continue our Bratz mini advent calendar Caitlin has. We have a few more on the table. I don't know if you can see it in the camera there, but
you almost certainly can't. But basically, the newest ones are this winter. You definitely cannot see this winter wonder time.
I'll get a close-up shot. They'll be looking at the picture of it here.
Winter time collections Jade, and then Flaunt It Sasha. They're not in the boxes because I guess you're supposed to put them in there. And then I didn't know it was going to do this, but they have like minis of like this eyeshadow palette. I guess they came out with a Yasmin eyeshadow palette. She looks pretty slay in that. And then apparently it opened up and like had all these eyeshadows. They probably were dog shit, but anyway, maybe they weren't. Who knows? But I wasn't into makeup back then. And then you almost certainly won't be able to see this, but this is a lipstick box.
That's fun.
Of like a lipstick I guess they came out with at some point.
Is the lipstick in it?
Yes.
Nice. That's very cool.
I was like, can I open this? Yeah. So you definitely won't be able to see this, but like it's like a little lipstick.
I'll have pictures blown up of all of them.
Yeah.
So and have you opened today's yet?
This is today.
Okay, the lipstick is today. So not getting it out early. So just a little update on our Bratz Advent calendar.
Yeah.
Keep that going throughout.
Sasha, Wintertime Jade, and then this palette and the lipstick. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about Gremlins, 1984. This was my choice this week of the movie to go back and watch. We're nostalgic for, or I am nostalgic for. And I watched this one so much as a kid, Gremlins. I thought it was scary and funny and great. And I had a stuffed Gizmo and a stuffed Stripe, and I wish I still had them. I don't know what. They probably got sold in a yard sale.
Yeah.
But I remember loving this movie, and I didn't know how much I'd like it going back to it because I haven't watched it in years. I still liked it just as much. I thought it was great.
I really liked it too. Yeah.
Have you watched it prior to this?
If I have, it's been a long time.
Okay.
But my mom really likes this one.
Yeah.
But my mom was born in like 1962, so I think this was like the prime like time to like, because this came out in the 80s. You said 84. Yeah. So like she definitely probably grew up with this one too, or like it came out in her 20s. So anyway, she really liked it too.
Fun fact: this came out it premiered in theaters the exact same day that Ghostbusters did. which is wild.
Wonder how that.
Yeah.
I wonder if people saw one and not the other.
Well, this made a lot of money, and so did Ghostbusters. So people watched them
Oh,
both. But we'll
interesting.
talk about the budget. I just want to quickly look up all the movies that came out in 1984.
Also, my mom has watched this, so shout out, Mama Shortall.
Mom Shortall.
Yes.
Yes, and she watched one of our episodes recently too.
Did,
Yeah, she
so
told us.
shout out to her. She's great.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, she loves this one too.
Okay, there are some crazy movies that came out in 1984. We've got 16 Candles, Gremlins, Ghostbusters, The Terminator, Dune,
Oh wow.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Supergirl, Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one.
Wow.
There are so many just
So many
huge
iconic
movies.
ones,
Conan the
yeah.
Destroyer,
16 Candles is
great
a good
movie.
one.
We need
Yeah.
to what we need to do is we need to
We need to have a rom-com moment like in February or something. That'd be fun.
I think we should do I think we should just do the John Hughes movie, maybe do like a trilogy. So like that,
Unfortunately, I don't know who John Hughes
he's
is.
the director of 16 Candles and Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink.
Oh, those movies.
So
Yeah.
the same guy. So we
Yeah.
should do those three like back to back to back.
Oh,
Maybe
that'd be
we do that in
fun,
January
yeah.
or February or something.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, we should do a rom-com moment. I think that would be nice.
yeah.
Like 2000s rom-com.
51st Dates, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days,
Yeah. Like stuff
No
like
Strings
that.
Attached.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all good.
So that's just future thinking. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
This though is a Christmas movie. Would you say this is a Christmas movie or is it a movie set at Christmas?
I would say it's a Christmas movie.
Really?
I really would. Just because, like, I know people love to say that about Die Hard, and I
Yeah.
think it's funny to say that it's a Christmas movie, but like that one is definitely just like set at Christmas. And I talked to someone at work the other day, and they were like, it technically is because of all these plot devices, and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shut the hell up! Like it's just set at Christmas. It's an action movie, you
Yeah.
know. But this one, I would say is, in
Okay.
my opinion. Do
I
you think it's not?
I think it's about as much as one as I think it's a little bit more. I'd say it's as much a Christmas movie as Home Alone is.
Home Alone's definitely
Because Home Alone's just a kid killing people. You could set that anytime. He didn't need to be left alone at Christmas. He could have been left alone in the summer.
Yeah, I suppose that's a good point.
Yeah,
But
and
I
this is the
guess-
same thing. The Gremlins could have came out at any point, but it's very Christmas is in every scene. There's some sort of Christmas element. The one girl has the horrible Christmas backstory we'll talk about.
I don't know. In my opinion,
The Mogwai is a Christmas present. So I'll say it's a Christmas movie.
It definitely.
They learn a lesson like you do in Christmas movies where it's like
Yeah.
you got to be more mature. I'll say it is.
I guess the thing about it is I don't know what technically is
Constitutes.
considered a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
But in my mind it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this too,
'Cause
especially since it was my pick for the Christmas movie. Yeah.
And like it has a bunch of not only is it also set at Christmas time, but like there's a bunch of Christmas like decorations everywhere, and like
Yeah.
it gives off the Christmas movie vibe, and like
Right.
I don't know, it's obviously not a typical one in terms of like romantic comedy Christmas movies,
Right.
but like in my opinion it is.
It's a Christmas horror movie, is I guess what I'd say.
which horror is being very
But
very mild.
we'll
you
talk
know?
about why it has the horror label here in a minute. Actually, let's go ahead and talk about it. So
Yeah.
when this movie came out, they didn't really know how to market it, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like a family-friendly horror movie, kind of, set at Christmas with these really cute characters. They're like, how do we market this? They didn't think it was going to be successful at all. Also, sorry if our screen up here, if you're watching the YouTube video, if our screen freezes, it's been acting weird. So just it'll
good for right
keep
now.
playing after a while. So they didn't know how to market this movie though, and so what they decided was let's kind of put the emphasis on the cute and cuddly aspect of it, right? Like Gizmo, he's adorable,
And they are very cute. I wish I had
They're
a
really
plush
cute.
of
Well,
Gizmo.
yeah. And so families went in, and then people started getting murdered, and gremlins are being exploded in the microwave, and it's these, some of these horrible, gross scenes especially for a little kid.
Yeah.
And they started this kind of controversy because people started like getting up with their families and leaving the theater before it's over.
Which, oh my God, give me a break.
And so, but the reason they were able to market it that way is because used to there was no PG-13 rating. There was
Oh,
G, PG, R. And so
I see.
when this came out, it was PG, which would have put it as the same as like most Pixar movies, So 2 months after this movie came out is when they made the PG-13 rating because of this movie and because of
That's
Temple of
tea.
Doom. Because they were like, it's not bad enough to be R, but it's not family friendly really. So we have to
Well,
make something in between. Yeah.
I mean, I would take a 10-year-old to this.
Oh yeah.
Or like a 8-year-old or something. But if you know your kid, like,
You're right.
I mean, it's just it's not even a
But
person exploding.
But there's a difference between this and, a Pixar movie. There's a little, there's some gore and stuff in it. Not human gore, but like the gremlins get chopped up and,
Yeah.
and
Do people? I think people die, right? Who dies?
people die in it. Yeah.
Yeah, but not like crazy, I guess.
You don't
I
see
know.
human blood outside of like some face cuts and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was. Do you want to talk about what this movie was going to be? Or well, I guess we should wait on that till the end.
I don't know what it used to be or was going to be. I don't know. That
So we'll go ahead and talk about it. So this movie was going to have a much darker tone initially, get it closer to that R rating. So I know one of the scenes that they changed was the mom's going to die, have her head cut off, and the gremlins are going to throw it down the stairs at Billy.
That would have been wild.
That's horrifying. There's some other things. Let me see. I think it's in my IMDb trivia. But
in my mind, it makes it more of a Christmas movie that it is like mostly like it is a happy ending,
Yeah.
Like nothing too gory or like insane happens.
This is insane. What this was originally in the script. They took it out. There were also scenes showing the gremlins eating Billy's dog. So they kill the dog and eat it.
Oh, that would have made me sad. Yeah.
And also one where they attack a McDonald's, but they eat the customers rather than the Big Mac. So you walk in, they're like biting off people's heads.
Oh my god!
So it's nearly a much gorier movie.
That would have made it R.
They toned it down.
But in my mind, like I said, I think that makes it more so of a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
because like no one dies in that way, I guess.
Right. You see people die, but it's mostly off camera, or it's a really wacky, almost like played for a joke type of way.
Right.
Cartoonish. So
if you will.
The impact this had on pop culture was, I'd say, pretty significant. This is parodied a lot, but also this was obviously the pop culture thing we talked about with getting the PG-13 rating started. It was this and Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom both coming out that year that people were like, okay, we got to have another rating. So that's huge because now I have PG-13. But it also inspired a lot of things, like a lot of sort of how you deal with family-friendly horror. There's even like, I think even It, the 2017 one, is a little bit inspired by this, by like what is scary to a kid. And the way that a gremlin is, this weird clown, and on a higher scale. That's obviously a much scarier movie.
I think like the concept a little bit,
And you pointed out Stranger Things.
It gives off that vibe because it's like almost like it's not alien. It's definitely a little bit almost, I don't even know what the word is, like not necessarily racist the way that they like go to some random Asian man and buy Gizmo.
It is a stereotype.
Yeah. Like a stereotype of some Asian culture that is not named. Unless they named it, I don't know.
There is also
that was weird.
There are some controversy, and that was big in the 80s. There was a lot of we got to those John Hughes movies. There's a lot of Asian stereotypes in those. There's also some controversy that some people thought that the Gremlins were racist, that they were portrayed like black people because they're.
I don't know much about that.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't really look into it that much, but some of the claims is like I think a lot of them comes from the author of the novel this is based on.
Oh yeah, it's based on a novel. I forgot.
Yeah, and things that he said where he was very disparaging to black people, and then he had said that he had based some of his gremlins off of them.
I wouldn't doubt
so I don't know how much of that goes into the movie,
right?
But,
exactly. At least maybe the book. I don't know. I don't know much about that, but I don't know. Yeah, it's something weird about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I noticed that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna say it definitely. I feel like inspired Grogu, like from the Mandalorian.
Yes.
Or I don't know if it definitely did, but like there's definitely Grogu looks a lot like
Gizmo. He definitely did.
Yeah.
Grogu looks more like Gizmo than he does like Yoda. He's got the big eyes where Yoda doesn't really have. His ears are kind of floppier, longer compared to the size of the head, like Gizmo's.
I don't know if that's just what cute characters look like, but like it definitely is very similar in a lot of ways.
And that is true that if you want to make a character cute, you usually give them bigger eyes and things. But yeah, they look very similar.
Yeah.
And this and
the
we
way
had
that
said
he like gets carried around and like he speaks English apparently. Grogu doesn't, but like anyway, but I think there's definitely a lot of similarities.
And this also directly inspired. Now we talked about this. We figured it was true, but I looked it up. This directly inspired Furbies. that came out in the 90s.
Which, because
98.
that was definitely more my demographic. And
Yeah.
ours, I guess. And I was like, is that a Furby? I guess I didn't put together that like
Furby's
Gremlins
copied them.
came first,
Right,
and
yeah.
then they put out Furbies.
Yeah.
I remember mine. It was really cute. I think it was like a bird thing, though.
Oh yeah.
You know, like they made it into like that kind of thing.
Okay.
They were
Yeah.
very cute. I had one, and it was a little scary, kind of, because
There are a
like,
lot
would
of
turn on
reports.
randomly.
There's several dozens, if not hundreds, of reports of people saying that they take the batteries out of their Furby and it still will talk a little bit. And
Yeah,
things.
so
I don't
what
know
that's about.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I had
Yeah.
one. It was very cute.
So the rough summary of the plot. And sorry, the screen's frozen. It'll
You
stop
know what?
on freezing
just,
in a
you
minute.
just look at our faces. And
It'll
this cat in the corner.
give it a minute. The cat. Yeah, and it moves its eyes when it's not frozen. So, rough summary of the plot. The story follows a young man who receives a strange creature as a pet, which then spawns other creatures who transform into small, destructive, mischievous monsters that all wreak havoc on a whole town on Christmas Eve. This movie is only an hour 46 minutes, which we appreciate.
Was it nice?
Let's talk about the actors in this. Zach Galligan, he plays Billy, the main character.
Yeah.
He's not in much else outside of this. He was an unknown actor that was cast in this role just because he had such good chemistry with Phoebe Cates,
I
who
was about to say
plays
that. Both of them
Kate.
hot. Both
Yes.
of them tense.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Look at
And they
them.
got good chemistry. And
Yeah.
that's why they hired them, as they said they had great chemistry when they were auditioning. So,
Yeah.
um,
Her hair is great. This is the first, I feel like, 80s movie where I'm like, wow, she has
Phoebe
really good
Cates.
hair. Yeah.
So she
yeah.
is 60
the one that
now.
plays Kate, yeah.
Today she's 60.
Yeah.
She looks amazing. If you
Yeah.
pull up a current photo of her, she looks at most 40.
And you know what? We love that.
Yeah.
And you know what? She's probably been unproblematic. That's probably why she's aged
Yeah,
so.
I always look, and I don't research these people too hard, but I'll look at like if they've done something bad enough on their Wikipedia page, it'll say controversy.
Yeah.
So I always go through all of them, and I couldn't find anything for these people.
And
So
we love that.
yeah.
We do.
Oh
yeah, she looks pretty
but
good.
back to Zach Galligan, he wasn't able to really get cast in much else after Gremlins.
Yeah.
But he's in Gremlins 2, the new batch, and he is recently came back to voice his role in the new animated Gremlins series. So that's pretty cool.
I didn't know it was animated.
Yeah, the new series is animated. It's like a
Yeah.
cartoon, more kid focused.
No, they look great in the movie, and then now I'm trying to look at a photo of him now, Zach Galligan. And she looks better, but you know he got kind of.
I think he's 59, she's 60, but yeah, she looks fantastic.
He has that kind of stare in his eyes. I don't appreciate.
But for 60, he looks pretty good too.
That's true.
They both have aged very well, but
Because they are problematic. That's why
Yeah.
they haven't said anything racist.
Yeah.
Unless they have, then I take that back. But anyway,
Hoyt Ago, I think that's how you say his name. He plays Randall Peltzer, and in the movie, he improvised almost every single one of his lines. They said he kept to the main plot storyline, but he didn't memorize them. He'd just do his own thing.
who is that?
The dad.
Oh,
Yeah. So Billy's
interesting.
dad is
The
Hoyt.
unemployed guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's really good. I think he's fun. It's rare that you get a dad in an 80s movie that's not a jerk or a
That's
businessman.
true.
I like that he's just kind of like this modern man that's just trying to make it, and
At
he's
least he
not very
cares.
good at
Yeah.
it. But he's happy. He's never like, oh, I hate all my inventions. He's just like, oh, that one didn't work. I'll fix it. I'm going to work on this plunger or whatever. I like that. I appreciate
That's fair.
that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I also like the mom in this, Frances Lee McCain. She plays Lynn Peltzer, the mom, and it's the same thing. They don't waste time being like, get a job. None of your inventions work. She's just like, it's fine. We love each other. We'll do a little kiss. We'll cook dinner. I'll kill 6 gremlins on a kill streak later.
Yeah.
In the movie. I think she's really good. Everybody in
That's a
this
good
is
point.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I love them. And I guess like the character Zach Billigan, or is that the actor's name?
Zach Gilligan
No,
or
Billy.
Galligan
Billy
is
is what it is.
the
Sorry,
actor.
yeah, Billy.
Yeah, his name's Billy.
Yeah, Billy, I guess is like a young 20s.
Yeah,
And
they
he
don't
still
really
looks big.
say.
Yeah, he looks like it at least because he has a bank job, so he's at least 18, 19.
Yeah.
still
I think they
living
say
with them.
she's 21 or 22, Phoebe
Yeah.
Cates' character,
Yeah.
Kate. But yeah, and I think he's supposed to just be around that age,
Yeah. So I guess
He's old enough to order a beer.
Oh
at the
yeah.
bar.
So then
Yeah.
21 at least.
Well, how about I go through the plot as we always do on
Yeah.
Wikipedia. Struggling inventor Randall Peltzer visits a Chinatown antique store hoping to find a Christmas present for his son Billy. Inside, Randall encounters a small furry creature called a mogwai. The mogwais are adorable, aren't they?
Very cute.
Yeah. So they were based off of I have it here. It was a mix of a Japanese, I don't know if this is a chin dog or shin dog, but it's some kind of Japanese
it
dog.
gave that, like the small nose, like a pug almost.
Yeah, so it's a mix of that and Steven Spielberg's own dog was used as like the basis for the color scheme for Gizmo, the brown and white.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they kind of did that, and they just kind of made the eyes bigger. Huh?
What kind of dog did he have?
I don't know, probably a normal mutt or something.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, I know that when they were first making the Gremlins, they were trying to decide between puppets. The director wanted puppets, Spielberg wanted puppets, but the studio wanted to get away from puppets. They first made them try putting monkeys in gremlin costumes.
Oh my God.
Obviously, the monkeys freaked out when you put a big thing on their head and attacked people. So they were like, well, we can't do this.
Why did anyone think that was a good idea?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's insane.
There's also they've said since then there was no CGI in this whatsoever, even like the 80s version of CGI they had, none of it. So everything in this is
it's like
done
effects,
there. Yeah, like puppets and realistic special effects. And I think
it looks good because
it looks really good, especially the horrible, gross scenes where like their gremlin explodes in a microwave or their skin melts off. It makes it look so real and gross.
Yeah.
And, whereas I think if you use CGI, especially CGI then, it would look kind of like
I could tell it's not real.
Yeah, you wouldn't have that same like kind of feel, So the owner, Mr. Wing, refuses to sell Randall the creature, but his grandson secretly does, warning Randall to remember 3 important rules. Do you remember the rules?
Yes. They don't like sunlight.
Yep, you can't expose them to light. No light.
And then don't feed them after midnight.
Yep.
Which does it start over at 8 a.m.? Like, when could you feed them? Can you just never feed them?
Well, they make fun of that in the sequel. And they're
okay.
like, yeah, because it doesn't make any sense. You can't.
Can you
it's
give me
always
a time
past
reference?
midnight.
Yeah.
Somewhere, that doesn't.
You can't give me a time range when I could feed them. And what if they eat at 11:50? Anyway, that's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the third one?
Not after midnight. And then don't get them wet.
Don't get them wet. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gremlin rules. Everybody knows them. And those are dumb, but they're fun. I don't mind it because these are obviously some sort of like mystical creature. So
I think that, and then also like it was obviously a way because it's like why did any of that need to be a thing? And I think it just is a way to obviously have a plot happen.
Yeah. It also seems like they can drink water. They just can't get it on them because they're in the bar drinking beer and they're fine.
It's true.
So, and I guess they'd have to drink water to survive. I guess their skin is like they can't get on their skin. I guess.
That's what it is.
Yeah. If you give it sunlight, it will kill it. Do not let it come in contact with water, and above all, never feed it after midnight. Randall returns home to Kingston Falls, where he gives the mogwai to Billy as a pet. Billy works in the local bank, but fears his dog Barney will be put down by widowed miser Mrs. Deagle, who's just cartoonishly evil.
Yeah, which is fun. Yeah,
and because you know that she's going to be killed in a horrific way.
100%. And my other thing about that too is like, if she is such a terrible person and just like cuts the line every single time she goes to the damn bank, why has no one said anything? Like, hey lady, can you stop cutting me? Like, can you stop? Why has no one said anything? What does she have over these people?
Everybody's so scared of her. There's that there's that one guy that walks by and he's like, "It's a beautiful morning, Mrs. What's her name? Mrs. Dean or whatever, Deagle." And she's like, "What's so good about it?" And he's like, "Oh, I love that. I think it's so fun." And then you have the family, the mom with the 2 kids, like, we can't meet our rent this month. Is there any way? And she's like, "That's not my problem. You know what to ask Santa for, you bunch of freeloaders."
Yeah, literally.
And then the little family walks away and the kids are like, "I'm hungry." And the mom's like, "Me too."
I was like, give me a break. What are you talking about? Oh, that was funny, but I was just like, oh my God.
Just making her so evil so that in that second or third act, she's going to get absolutely
she's going to get it
killed. Yeah. So Randall names the mogwai Gizmo and explains the 3 rules. Gizmo is friendly and docile, but when Billy's young friend Pete accidentally spills water over Gizmo, 5 more mogwai spawn from his back, a more troublemaking sort led by the aggressive Stripe, named for the tuft of hair on his head. Did you find it weird that Billy hangs out with a 13-year-old boy?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Do you know? So the reason why that is that boy, the friend, was cast as the actor before Billy, and before Billy was originally Billy was going to be the same age, but later in the writing process, they changed the age up.
Why?
The thing is that the kid was cast way earlier before the script was even done because the kid was initially supposed to be in Steven Spielberg's E.T. and they had to cut all the scenes for time, and Spielberg felt bad, so he's like, "Well, you can be the best friend in my next movie, Gremlins, or the movie I'm producing, Gremlins." But then they changed it, so they're like, "Well, I'm not going to cut this kid again," so they just left it and didn't really explain it.
Yeah,
Which I kind of took
a way
it
to explain it, but they obviously just did it very well.
Yeah, I kind of just took it as like, well, sometimes you got that neighbor that's a kid that just is always around. That's kind of how I just took it.
I didn't really honestly think about that.
Yeah.
But
Back at home, Stripe and his fellow Mogwai trick Billy into feeding them after midnight by severing the power cord on his alarm clock. They form cocoons, as does Hansen's Mogwai, which soon hatches, emerging as a mischievous dark green reptilian monsters called Gremlins, who then torture Gizmo and attack Billy's mother, Lynn, and Hansen is killed by his gremlin. The cocoons are so nasty. They're like wet and slimy. And
they look like like the cocoons almost.
Yeah, it looks kind of like the movie Alien, the poster with like the egg cracking open. That's kind of what they look like.
Yeah. And I don't really know why they chose to have one of them at the school with the science teacher.
Yeah.
And also, additionally, which is Hansen, the one that got killed by his little gremlin. And additionally, why can he even do tests at the school lab? Does he have a lab?
He's doing some sort of blood test on them. So how does he test that?
Have a lab?
Yeah.
He's a science teacher at the school.
In the 80s, yeah.
I'm not understanding. Does he have another job where he has a lab?
Maybe.
Or because he's not getting paid enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To just do random lab tests at school.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing, sir?
I like when he tries to hand him the candy bar and it like bites his hand, though.
Yeah.
And it stabs him in the butt because he did, the gremlin was hurt by the shot.
But also, like, why did he stab him? Like, what was even in the syringe?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The Gremlins, and the director talks about this because at first, when he was reading the script, he didn't really understand like the Gremlins, and he was like, "What is their thing?" And him and the costume designer realized when they were got to the part where they were kind of like wearing the people's clothes and stuff. They're like, "Oh, these are parodies of people. These are parodies of humans, essentially." Yeah. So that's why they'll be a little vengeful and they'll do something a little mean or stupid because it's supposed to be like a parody of a human. I guess making fun of ourselves. I guess a little bit.
Fair enough.
So the Gremlins are loose now. Lynn and Billy are able to kill off the Gremlins, except for Stripe, who escapes to a local YMCA. There, Stripe jumps into the swimming pool, spawning an army of Gremlins who wreak havoc in Kingston Falls. Many people are injured or outright killed by the Gremlins rampage, including Mrs. Deagle. The way Mrs. Deagle dies is wild. She is on her little stair lift.
Which I don't know why. First of all, I don't know why she has that. Those stair lifts for old people whenever they like can't really walk very well upstairs. Yeah. You have to sit on them and then you'd like get taken down the stairs.
Right.
I don't know why she even has that. She walked fine earlier.
So she's got but it looks like it's a huge staircase, a huge spiral. It's got to be like several hundred steps because.
She walked fine. I was like not understanding that at all. I was like, okay, girl, like whatever, I guess.
But it's like it's electric powered, and they mess with the wiring, the Gremlin, so that when she goes to go back up the stairs, it just takes off like a rocket. It goes like 200 miles per hour, and shoots her through the front wall of her house, and then she falls to her death outside and lands face first in the snow.
Well, the Wicked Witch of the West when he watched Wizard of Oz, like how her feet were just in the air like that. It was giving that. Yeah,
it was definitely a homage to that. Also because she had also said like, "I'll get your pretty dog too," or whatever earlier in the movie too. Yeah, so that was supposed to be kind of that character.
Yeah.
There's a lot of homages in this, especially to like Spielberg's older work. There's a lot of homages to E.T. You see like an E.T. plush, one of the Gremlins say "Phone Home."
That's true. Yeah. That's a
good point. There's I've got some in my trivia for later, but there's a lot of different callbacks to different movies and things.
Yeah. Interesting.
You see the Mickey Mouse ears in the theater, stuff like that. Yeah. One of
a
the gremlins
mess.
have on mouse ears.
But yeah, the way that she dies is really, it is pretty funny. It's not
Yeah.
like they like slit her throat or anything crazy. She just like gets shot out the window and then I guess immediately dies, like cracks her neck open. Who knows
Yeah.
how it happened? But like all you see is her. She's like laying on her back, I think, in that little chair, and then like she's just dead. She doesn't move.
Yeah, she's there. So Billy reports this to the police, but they prove to be no help as they don't believe his story, even after he shows them Gizmo.
And that pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because like you're still not believing what I'm telling you.
This creature,
and you're seeing it,
as far as you know, does not exist, and now it does.
and
So,
you're looking at it.
Yeah.
What do you like? And they're still like, oh, really? Hey, like, go out there and look. I guess they just called you
1,000
about
of
it.
them, yeah.
Oh, that made me bad. I'm like, ugh. And then of course they're no help when they get there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Are we calling in the National Guard? Like, what are we doing about this? And why is there only 2 of them there?
Yeah.
Like,
so also
whatever.
around this time, it doesn't have it in the plot here, but what I'm assuming is a World War II veteran guy, the drunk at the bar, is
Yeah.
killed also. Him and his wife are both killed by gremlins that come in with his own snowplow
Right.
and run them over.
Yeah.
Just probably the main character, the biggest characters to die, and probably the most horrific human death.
They don't show it, but like,
Yeah.
it's obviously implied that they
Yeah.
got run over, and that was why they were called out. That's what happened.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they got killed by the gremlins with their snowplow or a tractor or whatever it was, and then which it went through a house. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then like the front of their house.
And remember,
then,
this is all done real, so they would have just probably
Yeah.
just drove through a real house.
Yeah.
Or at least they built, probably the exterior of a house and drove through it. One of the two.
that's
you
that
know?
ET money.
Yeah.
You know?
That's an ET
to be able,
money.
to be able
Yeah.
to do that. But anyway, yeah. So then that happened, and then that was why the police people were called out, and then they were also like, "There's little green." I think they said green men. I don't even
Yeah.
remember, but I don't know. Then they see them attacking other people, and then they just roll out their window and just like drive away. Like,
Yeah.
you guys are no help. Y'all gotta call backup.
No, they just
What do you
drove
mean?
off, yeah.
Oh my.
I do like the design of when they become the gremlins, though. They're
It's
very
very-
monkey-like,
It's very that, and then also
crocodile-ish.
like evil elf, crocodile,
Yeah.
reptile. Yeah.
Yeah. They got, if they have any hair, it's usually like kind of white or, short, and they just they
All they do
stand
is eat.
upright, and their like limbs are longer, and they
Yeah.
got claws. They're kind of like a mix between like a lizard and a monkey almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So as Billy rescues his girlfriend, Kate Berenger, they hide in the now abandoned bank, where Kate reveals to Billy and Gizmo why she hates Christmas. This is insane that this is in the movie, because it is such a tonal shift from, there is nothing else like this story
In it,
in the
yeah,
movie.
and like that, it doesn't really even like it
Add
doesn't even
anything?
add that much.
Yeah, so
why did we do this?
so the story is, when she was 9 years old, her father went missing on Christmas Eve and did not come home on Christmas Day either. Several days later, she found him dead because of the stench in their chimney while dressed as Santa Claus. He was planning on coming down the chimney, snapped his neck on the way there, got stuck, and died.
Why? Okay, why is this man going down the chimney? Why did he do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not understanding.
She does a great job delivering this story. Like,
Yeah.
it does make you you picture it as she's saying it.
Right.
But I'm like, the studio didn't want this in, so like, this doesn't fit. It's weird and dark. Spielberg said, he's like, I don't really want this in. It's weird and dark. But you're the director. It's your movie. If you want it in, it's your movie. You should have it in. So Spielberg stood up for him and let him have it, because the directors who wanted this part. And so
It just doesn't like it does. There's no callback to it. It doesn't have any effect on like the Gremlin story. Like
Yeah.
there's no.
they don't really grow from it. It's not like at the end she learns like to appreciate Christmas.
Exactly. So then it's like, why did we
Yeah.
do that?
The director claims, he says he sees it as that story is a microcosm for the entire plot of the movie, that it's about loss and learning a lesson and thing. But it's like, what do you even learn? That your dad's an idiot?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But for some reason, he decided he should go down the chimney
Yeah.
and snapped his neck and died. Why didn't he not just go through the front door?
Right.
Why would anyone see? Like, it's amazing he lived until when he did, because like just doing stupid shit like that, I'm not understanding. But anyway, I mean, I understand why then she would not like Christmas, but then why not at the end? Was she not like, oh, now I have another reason because of you to like Christmas? If we're gonna argue that it's about like that or like
Yeah.
it has something to do with like their relationship, no, it's never mentioned again.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, okay.
Yeah, it's a little out of place, and I've always thought that as a kid. I remember hearing that story and thinking like that is the darkest thing I've ever heard as a kid, But
So wild.
anyway, yeah. So a sort of a weird story to be put in there. Billy and Kate discover that the town has fallen silent. The gremlins are watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in the local theater. They set off a natural gas explosion, incinerating all the gremlins except for Stripe, who left to commandeer more candy at a Montgomery Ward store across the street. As morning approaches, they follow Stripe into the department store where Stripe attempts to use a fountain to spawn more gremlins. Gizmo opens a spotlight, though, exposing Stripe to sunlight, killing him. Gizmo gets the kill.
We love that.
Yeah, the little
And
hero.
he's so cute. He said bright light.
Yeah. I did. He's a bright light. He is originally in the first script, Gizmo and Stripe are the same. They're one character. He starts out good, he gets wet, he turns evil.
Oh.
They realize Spielberg realized he's like, no, this story needs like a hero creature that people can relate to and like.
Yeah.
And then after they made it and was so cute, they're like, okay, well, he's definitely going to stay good because we can sell a lot of these toys.
I was just about to say they're
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh yeah, the money in this.
Yeah. So then that's when they said, well, let's make him the hero. But let's put him in a Barbie car, make it real cute. We'll sell even more toys. Yeah.
And it worked.
It does,
It worked
because as
on
soon as
me.
you did, you were like, that is cute. It is cute. As a kid, I can't believe I haven't said this yet in the video. I used to Google, are gremlins real anywhere? Can I get a Mogwai, please?
I need one.
I'd be like, is there a way, as a scientist, try to make a Mogwai? Like, I'd look up I was like, I want Gizmo so bad. He's adorable.
Do I need to go to another country to get him?
Yeah. Where's that Asian man store at? Or that stereotypical man? Where is he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Chinatown.
I need to go.
I have to go. So as the local news reports on the day's mysterious tragedies, Mr. Wing reclaims Gizmo at the Peltzer home. He scolds the Peltzers for their negligence and criticizes Western society for its carelessness with nature. However, as he turns to leave, Gizmo, having bonded with Billy, bids the young man goodbye.
It was
Well, I
very
sure
cute.
like that. It's bye-bye. Or bye, Billy.
yeah.
Very
It's like,
cute.
bye, Billy.
A touched Mr. Wing then concedes that Billy may be ready one day, but until then, Gizmo will be waiting. And he waits until the second movie, which
Yeah.
we'll definitely watch. So that one is 100% a Halloween movie because it's got all the horror aspects, but it's set at Halloween. So maybe next Halloween we'll watch it.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll watch it before then. I don't know.
But yeah, it was very cute. The whole time I was like, wow, I need a Gizmo plush now.
Right.
You know? But yeah, very cute.
So let's talk about some of the other things going on here. We talked about the puppets, the special effects. The theme song.
Speaking of the special effects, though, like whenever the evil gremlin like jumps into the pool, that looked really cool.
Yeah. I like how like they use fog and stuff, and it bubbles up, and then when Gizmo hits the lights, that face melting scene is pulled straight from, and that's referencing Steven Spielberg's work on the first Indiana Jones movie as a callback to it.
That's true.
When his
when
they opened the Ark of the Covenant.
When he opened the sky and then like Stripe melted away.
Yeah,
that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's a great effect. When the mom's killing all the gremlins in the house, I mean, when she microwaves that one, that is a gross effect.
Yeah.
Your face was like, ugh, because it explodes and its blood's green. She chops one up in a blender. There's a lot of they're able to get away with the gore by doing it to the gremlins.
Yeah, exactly.
Giving them gross green blood and they're snotty. Like a lot of them just have snot running down their faces, or they're just like drools hanging down.
The clip of them all causing havoc at not only the movies, which is just wild that they're even sitting and watching Snow White and Snow. Why did they do that? Probably because I guess they had to put in Disney somehow for some reason. But
yeah, I mean, the reason they said is that they wanted to do a movie that they would like because they had sort of like the brains of like kids. So a cartoon, and it was Christmas time, so they were like, "What movie comes out?" And apparently back then, and sometimes in some places still today, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is played at a lot of cinemas during Christmas because it originally released on Christmas. Apparently,
interesting. I didn't know that. Well, then maybe that's why. But anyway, they all sit very calmly and watch Snow White. But then before that, everyone's like causing ruckus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're doing the most, and then
I like when they're singing along. Hi ho,
to Snow White.
hi ho. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and so anyway, whenever they're all together, they always just cause them ruckus. Like they're always trying to eat everything in sight, like
Yeah.
candy and
Yum,
everything,
yum.
in the candy store specifically. And anyway, yeah, they just look gross. And then at the bar where Kate works, part time, I guess, like she was having to serve them and then realized like very scared, and they're all drinking and
Yeah,
like
the one of them had a little hat and
smoking.
a cigar and was sitting in the corner alone, looking
Yeah.
sad. The one comes up, starts doing hand puppets. And
Yeah, like that was like genuinely pretty
put Gizmo on
funny.
the dartboard and throw darts at him.
Yeah. It's genuinely pretty funny, but I was just like, this, they all look silly, like they
Yeah.
all look dumb. And then finally Kate realizes that she can use her little Polaroid for light so she can get out of there. But
Yeah.
I was like, that's funny. And they looked silly. They didn't even look gross, then they just looked like they were trying to be people.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
don't
they'll put
know.
on a wig and a hat and a little suit or whatever, a scarf, like the ones that are Christmas caroling, and they all have on like the scarves and
I
the
was like, where did
toboggans.
they even get these clothes?
Probably how people they killed, I guess. I
But
don't
they're
know.
like small. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
To fit them.
perfectly fit. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
Uh,
very, very like you said, like cartoonish,
Yeah.
like funny stuff.
We don't
like
get
that.
movies like this anymore. That's like a live action cartoon.
Yeah,
You know, where it's
because
like
now
a
they
cartoon
they
come
want
to
everything to
life.
be animated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, very funny to me.
Other great things about this movie is the soundtrack. The theme song for this is incredible. Dun 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 dun. I get that stuck in my head just on random days. I may not have watched the movie in 6 years, and I was just randomly that or the Gizmo song. The doo, 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 doo. He like hums it, almost sounds like a whistle.
I don't think I remember.
It's pretty good too.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. I mean, that's one thing Steven Spielberg, whatever. That I feel like he does that well. Is
Yeah, he always gets the best. You know, a lot of times he works
soundtracks.
with John Williams. For this, it was Jerry Goldsmith, who, yeah, every song in this is good, and all the variations of the song. Like, there's different variations of the theme song where one's like more calming, and then one's like very aggressive when the Gremlins are attacking. I like all that.
Yeah.
So this movie was made on a budget of 11 million. So, you know, on the cheaper side, and not necessarily for the 80s, but for a blockbuster that did as well as this, because it made 154 million. So it made
they
a lot of money. And that's in 80s money. So today,
Yeah.
you know, that'd be probably over double
That'd
that.
be a damn Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And releasing the same day as Ghostbusters, having to compete with that, which is also a legacy 80s sort of gross horror movie where the ghosts are gross in the same sort of way. And, you know, it's crazy that it did as well. The director said, he was like, I don't know how this was a success or why it was. He's like, we didn't think it was going to make any money.
Yeah.
Let's close it out with some IMDb trivia. Chris Columbus, the film's writer, drew inspiration from legends of gremlins in the RAF that can be dated all the way back to the Second World War. In folklore, a gremlin is a creature that causes malfunctions in aircraft and other machinery. They tend to be depicted with large eyes, spiky backs, and sharp teeth.
Oh yeah, I think that's like a thing that they would say, like, well, there's probably gremlins in it, and that's what they kind of allude to at the end. It's like when something doesn't work, it could be a gremlin.
Yeah,
you know, so.
And the guy that we assume is a World War II vet, he doesn't say it, but he talks about World War II.
Oh, you're right.
He
did
says
say
this
that
explicitly. He's like, well, there's gremlins in foreign made technology. They get in there and they break the stuff.
That's true. Yeah. Oh yeah, he said at the beginning too when Billy's car didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, well, you got that foreign stuff. You need. He's got a Volkswagen Beetle. So got that foreign stuff. You need American made. You don't have the gremlins in it. Whatever.
Which I was confused about that because I was like, that sounds weirdly like, I don't know, but then I realized it's not long after World War II.
Yeah,
So I guess
like,
people were still very
35,
like,
40 years after. So
yeah, I was like, that feels weirdly racist or like, you know, like patriotic or like nationalistic, you know.
Yeah, but
patriotic's the wrong word, more like nationalistic.
At that point, you still had a lot of Nazis running around. You had people that were former Nazis now in America. So there would have been a lot of hate still for especially German people, which
that's fair.
It's kind of who he's alluding to in that.
Because because of the Volkswagen,
yeah.
At this point in 2023, it's been so long since then. But I guess at that point, it was 30, 40 years.
Right.
People that worked, or I almost said worked in World War II, that like served.
Served.
Yeah, they would have still obviously been alive and like been working, you know, having to be a real person again. So anyway, at first I was like, wait a second, what is that about? But But anyway, yeah, it makes sense.
And that feeds into a lot of the Asian stereotypes that we see in 80s movies.
yeah,
A lot of those movies were made by either people that fought and served around for World War II and grew up and started making movies, or people that's dad served. And so there's a lot of still anti-Asian, or a lot of Asian hate,
yeah.
especially them, especially
Yeah.
for Japanese culture. And so
COVID
that's
didn't help
why
either.
John what
COVID didn't help either.
Yeah, I know. But that's why,
Made it
like,
worse.
you watch a John Hughes movie, and every time there's an Asian character, he's a joke, and you hear the gong, like the brrr,
Yeah, which is like, oh my god, we are better. Well, maybe we're not better than this, but we need to be.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The set for Kingston Falls is the same one used for Back to the Future. Both movies are filmed
Oh.
on the Universal Studios backlot.
I think you can. I could kind of tell a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you seen Back to the Future?
Mhm,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's
And we'll do that
You kinda
eventually,
know.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
That came
yeah.
out in 85, the year after this.
that's definitely in the same genre, in my opinion, in my mind at least, of like 16 Candles, Pretty Woman, or no, Pretty in Pink.
Pretty in Pink, yeah. Breakfast Club.
And,
those
yeah,
types of-
like in my mind, that's all very. Obviously, they're about different things, but they're all like around the same time
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
same genre. Yeah,
that
ish.
sort of mid 80s type of era.
Yeah.
So one of the studio notes to director John Dante, I'm not sure how you say his name, and executive producer Steven Spielberg on seeing the first cut was that there were too many Gremlins. Spielberg suggested cutting them all out and calling the movie People. So he got a little smart with them. He's like, well, why don't you just cut them all out? We'll just call it People, because if there's too many Gremlins, it's called Gremlins. It's supposed to be Gremlins in the Gremlins movie.
Why? Why would there have been too many?
Right. Why wouldn't you want more? That's like, if anything.
Because it gives the sense of like it's really overrun and like it's getting out of hand.
Yeah,
and, like,
like the mom killed like 5 of them. They're easy to
Yeah.
kill. You just need to have a lot of them, so they're harder to kill. That's the thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know why they would have. That's
Yeah.
weird.
it's a dumb, stupid note by an
If
executive.
if Steven Spielberg wasn't a part of this movie, it probably would have been worse.
Yeah.
Because like, what are you talking about?
Because he at this point had the reputation. If he would get his way, he
Yeah.
could stand up to whoever and be like, "I'm the movie guy. I make the movies. Let me make my movie, and
I
you
am
can
movie
have the
guy."
money from it. That's all you do." So just Zach Galligan recounted in an interview that when the movie was made, there was no CGI, so all the Gremlins were animatronics, each costing between $30,000 to $40,000 a piece in 80s money. So that's a lot of money.
yeah.
When everyone left the lot for the day, security would have everyone open their trunks of their cars to make sure they weren't stolen. You can sometimes find one of these Gremlins out and about in the world, like for sale online or whatever, and they go for a lot of money.
Which makes sense. But additionally, what would you do with it?
Yeah. Well, they actually, there was a comic store that used to be in Jasper. They had a Gremlin puppet. It wasn't a real one. It was a remake, but it was the exact size. I think it was striped, and it was the real size. It was made too detailed to look just like him, and it was like something crazy, like $800. I was like 10th grade, and I just got my birthday money, and I had some other money saved up. I came this close to buying it. I wish I would have for this podcast.
No,
How cool would it be if we just had the Gremlin right here?
I mean,
And I probably spent the money on something just as stupid, So I should have bought it.
yeah. I mean, yeah. In hindsight, it would have been cool, but
Yeah.
at the time, I'd have been like, really, really. But anyway, yeah. I think the puppets was definitely a way better choice.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it being released the same day as Ghostbusters. There are many connection to executive producer Steven Spielberg's other popular movie, E.T., one of the Gremlins say phone home. There's a stuffed E.T., and at the beginning, one of the movies on the marquee is A Boy's Life, which was the fake name under which E.T. Shipped to theaters. So they shipped it out and wrote a fake name on it so it wouldn't get stolen or leaked, essentially.
What?
They did the same thing with the first Star Wars. The first Star Wars fake name was Blue Harvest. You change the name so people don't steal it or leak it, watch it, and then share all the plot details, because you had to ship out the physical reels back then.
Did not know that.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
if they got stolen, if you saw one on a truck and it was Gremlins, and you've seen all this promotion for Gremlins, well, I'll steal that and sell it for $1,000, that kind of thing. So you'd lie, write a fake title on it so nobody would know. Director Joe Dante still owns the Peltzer Peeler juicer, the big juicer that explodes when he puts oranges in it. 37 years later, he listed it for sale to any devout movie prop collector. He stated, with the advice and a little help of some friends of mine, I've attached. Can you guess what he's attached? an NFT
Oh my god.
that will function as the juicer certificate of authenticity because blockchain security, eye roll, yada yada, something something authenticated forever. We got a Gremlins director out here selling NFTs.
My god, I'm so sick and tired of NFTs.
I know. I saw
Like-
that. I was like, no. It just seems like he wasn't. You know, he put an eye roll in there, so I guess he's like, I didn't really want to do this, but they, you know, whatever.
Like, give me a break. Yeah, at least he didn't create a fake coin to scam
Yeah.
people, but still, I don't know.
You wouldn't invest in Grimcoin.
What do you think?
Let's get back on track. What does this movie hold up? Is it still a good movie today?
I would say so.
I think so too. I think you show this to any kid as if they're capable of watching a little bit of cartoony violence. They're gonna love this.
I would say around like I don't know, like 8 or 10. Yeah. I mean, obviously,
I was probably about that age. I was probably like 8 or so, and I saw,
Yeah.
you know,
people know their kids, but I mean, in my opinion, I feel like it would be around that age, or at least like, or even like middle school, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, next week is part 3, your final Christmas pick, and what are we gonna watch?
I'm kind of in between. I think I want to do Jingle All the Way, but there's also Unaccompanied Minors that I watched a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's a Christmas movie. I'm pretty sure it is. But
Okay, let's do this. Let's say the episode will be Jingle All the Way.
uh-huh.
If we have time to also watch the other one, maybe we throw in a quick review at the end.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, what's your pick?
And we'll finish up the 4th part with Christmas Vacation. We
Our
got to do
favorite
Christmas
one, our favorite
Vacation.
one,
That will
yes.
either release on Christmas Eve or a day or two, but we may release that one a little bit early to try to get some. I don't think like anybody's going to watch it after Christmas.
Yeah.
So we
I
may
agree with
release
that.
the 4th episode a couple days early. But so
it's gonna be, that's my favorite of all time. So it's gonna be good.
Yeah, and then after that, we'll get back to some regular content. Well, I think we'll probably take a break for a week or two.
Is there a New Year's movie?
There's New Year's Day with Topher
with
Grace.
all those with who?
Topher Grace.
I don't think I know who that is.
Yeah, you do. That 70s Show guy. He was also Venom in Spider-Man 3.
Interesting.
Eric from That 70s Show. So, but we're not going to do that because YouTube numbers are down for everybody the first 2 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
Especially for like a small channel like us. So we'll probably just take those weeks off and then come back.
Well, we're going on
mid-January.
vacation anyway, so.
Yeah, we're going to be out of town. Well, we'll be out of town anyway. So we'll talk about more of that later. But thank you everybody for listening, for checking back in with our holiday movies. We'll be back next week, like we said, with Jingle All the Way. Arnold Schwarzenegger, can't wait for that.
We
Turbo
love
Man,
him,
all that. I
yeah.
think I have a Turbo Man somewhere.
I don't know what that is.
That's what they're looking for in the movie.
Oh, it's clearly I haven't seen it
Turbo
in a
Man.
while. Turbo Man.
So yeah, maybe I'll hunt out my Turbo Man before then, and we can have it sitting here. That'll be fun.
To be determined. Yeah.
But if you're listening on YouTube or a podcast app, we're on all podcast apps. You can like, comment, subscribe. Not all podcasts let you do all those things, but you can at least leave 5 stars. You can also share the show with friends. It's the best thing you can do to support us. Tell somebody to listen if
Put
you
it
like
on your
us.
story.
Put it on your story. And we share our posts. Feel free to share it.
Yeah.
Tag us in it. If you got a request for us, you can message us at Nuanced Nostalgia Pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also email us at nuancednostalgiapod@gmail.com. Send us a message. We get some messages here and now and then, but we don't get a lot of suggestions. So send us some suggestions. We'll get to that in the new year probably.
Comment, say hi, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think that's about it. Yeah, if you're listening, check out the YouTube version. We're trying to build that up a little bit too. We also put all our videos on Facebook too, so you also watch it there.
Maybe watch the one before and the one after this.
Yeah, it'll be It'll be on the screen. It'll say watch this one and watch that one, and subscribe in the middle. That's what I was gonna say.
Maybe just don't. Maybe just like look at it like this and don't look at me. Just look at Nick only, and then you can just listen to me.
No, you look great. You always look great.
Thanks. Don't feel like it. Anyway.
All right. Well, thank you everyone
Thanks,
for
girlies, for tuning in.
Thanks, girl bosses, for slaying with us today. And we'll be back next
Not a giant sleigh.
next week. All right. Well, thank you everyone,
Thanks,
and we will
girlies.
see you next week.
Bye.